All right, so we'll go through a few little features here before we take off.
Absolutely.
Something we do with all of our customers and all our pre-order holders. Essentially, I'm going to kind of operate the main user interface for you so you can really focus on the driving factors.
Yep.
I will walk you through everything I'm doing, everything I change. You'll be able to understand what I'm doing in that process.
Yep.
Have you played with any of the vehicles in the field yet?
No.
Okay.
I've sat inside one, but I didn't want to touch anything.
With anything.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, seat position, as you're already figuring out, pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Steering wheel and mirrors are done through our interface here. So normally when you take delivery of the vehicle, Rivian would be your name. So normally inside of your driver profile, you have steering wheel and side mirrors. Essentially, there's a button left and right of each scroll wheel and the scroll wheel itself.
Yep.
They each have very specific functions. So if I select steering wheel, it gives you a set of instructions on how to operate that. Roll the scroll wheel up or down, gives you the up or down.
Like a Tesla.
The left scroll wheel gives you in telescoping in or out.
Gotcha.
I want you to move it whatever's comfortable for you.
That's all good. Excellent. It's a nice position, yep.
Side mirrors, not necessarily going to use these because we're moving forward, but nonetheless, the scroll wheel for each side moves that that side of the mirror glass up or down. The button left or right will move the glass in or out.
They're good.
If you're good with that, we'll remember and we'll drop that away. Excuse me. Now, inside here, we have a few different features. We have our HVAC, we have our defrosters, we have our navigation.
Nice.
Currently set off there. We can even bring up our satellite imagery as well.
Very good.
We have our media, we have our drive modes, which is we're going to be living at mostly, and some of our features for the vehicles, how to open the front trunk. We have our lighting accessories, our charging areas. So a lot of fun features to play with inside here. We have cameras.
Pretty good. Over 200 miles from 76%. Very good.
Not too shabby. And we're only capping the charging at 85%.
Yeah.
So we have cameras, which we're going to use these a little bit later here for an off-road functionality, and we have some settings for each individual of those features. For now, we're going to live on this page. Cool. We're going to start off in all-purpose, where it leaves us as our standard ride height at 11.5 inches. Our ride defaults to soft, which is what we're going to start on. And our brake region set to high, so we can capture as much of that energy back as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you driven Teslas before?
Yeah, loads. Yeah,
okay. So
for many years.
You're familiar with regen?
For many. Oh yeah, I've driven all sorts of electric cars for many years. Yep.
Dual motor regen. Quad motor regen. So it is a fairly strong feedback, but you're also capturing twice the energy.
And that would probably help with hill descent control type feature as well, I guess.
So the idea here, there's a few kind of idiosyncrasies we can change and play with that make that a little stronger, a little softer, depending on the rate of descent and what kind of terrain you're dealing with. So one of the features that we'll do when we go into the off-road section is we're actually going to turn the hold feature off, so it doesn't want to bring the truck to a stop on the descent. That way we'll just maintain a nice continuous.
Which makes sense.
Sometimes you need to use the brake depending on how steep it is. Other times you might need to use the accelerator.
So 4 motors, so 2 on each axle, literally. Are they hub motors, not hub motors? Just
one on each motor, or one on each wheel.
Wheelbase there. Okay, 4 motors, 800 and something horsepower.
A little over 800 horsepower, a little over 900 pound-feet of torque as well.
Amazing.
So you'll notice when we go to an off-road mode, the throttle mapping changes so that we can better control the vehicle in an environment where we don't need 900 pound-feet of torque on tap.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Now, the last thing we're going to do with you real quick is just go through PRND, park, reverse, neutral, drive. Pretty straightforward. Put on the brake,
same as
push
a Tesla.
the stock all the way down for drive, all the way up for reverse, and P for park at the end of the top.
That's it.
Perfect.
Very good.
When you're ready to rock and roll, foot on the brake, put us in the drive. We're going to put forward and right. We're going to move nice and slow past the front vehicles here. And once we get down to the flagger station, you'll see if we have a green flag, we'll move. If we have a red flag, we'll wait for a clearance.
Excellent. Excellent. Right.
Are you ready to go?
Let's check we're rolling. Yeah, we're rolling. We've got to get this.
This will be an
smooth
for sure.
For a big truck, you've got really good visibility. You can see the bonnet. See the corners.
Even the little windows right here give you a little extra visibility to maximize where you can see.
Very smooth.
Quiet, relaxing.
Is this on sort of all-terrain tyres as well, this one?
Come to a stop right here for me, please. Oh, green light.
Yeah, right off.
So what I want you to do, Richard, I want you to bring the truck up to 30 miles an hour and give me some fairly aggressive lane changes to see what the truck behaves like in a soft ride quality.
So this is soft and kind of advanced, but if we...
Go ahead. You'll notice how level the hood of the truck stays.
For the angle, the weight and the height of the car, wow.
extremely responsive.
It's really sharp.
Very sharp.
Yeah.
So part of that is our electronic air control, or electronic air suspension,
Yep.
and our hydraulic roll control dampening system. Paired together creates an extremely well-balanced vehicle. We're going to make a big left-hand turn onto the runway.
Onto the runway.
What I want you to do on the runway is I'm going to put the ride into stiff.
Yep.
Now 35 miles an hour, same kind of steering. See what differences you notice.
35. So, quick lane change like that. It's amazingly agile. It doesn't sort of feel like it's, I mean, the steering response is so
Make
sharp.
a left here on this little crossway back to our flagger. We have right of way, so you can pull just right back onto the taxiway.
Amazing.
Now, part of that,
It's very good. Yeah.
very responsive. We also have an extremely well-balanced
To the left?
truck. Yep, left.
Yep.
Part of that is because of our skateboard design, our platform.
Yep.
So being able to stretch that weight out front to back, we have almost a perfectly balanced truck.
Yep.
So typically they're very front heavy, very rear light.
Yep.
That is not the case on our vehicle at this point in time.
That's my camera.
I'll back there for you.
Oh, cheers. I think I've gone just past it. Let's not risk it on the outside. You don't want that on the runway?
Well, it's so responsive, it threw the camera off.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven down the runways of 150 miles an hour. That's
Well,
stuck
you
on.
might have some good image because you drove right over it. You can see the underbody of the truck now.
Amazing.
So this time we're going to make a left-hand turn a little bit on the outside, and we're going to stop next to that stop sign just at the edge of the runway over there.
Sure.
And then we're going to transition to our off-road setup.
Oh, just over there.
Yep.
Yep.
And you're going to come to a stop right before you hit the dirt.
Yep. Air-conditioned seats, lovely.
It's a nice touch, isn't it?
So regen to a stop,
And only an apply hold for you as well.
and it just does a nice stop as well.
Yep.
Very good.
Perfect. Now, one of my favorite things I like to point out too is how much attention to detail are on certain things. So you actually have a body painted truck
Yep.
in the image there. You have your tail lights on, so if you turn your lights off, the lights would go off.
Yep.
Your hazards go on. It actually shows the lights blinking, and you can even see the shadow down there. There's little things like that that go a long way for me.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to transition to off-road. So it puts us automatically into a ride height of 13.1 inches. You can feel the truck.
And it's just lifting now. Yep.
Now, of course, it gives you fun little cheeky things like nothing can stop you. So there's all kinds of fun stuff like that. Our ride quality defaults to stiff, which is actually what we're going to start off in.
Okay, yeah.
The idea behind this is we have a little articulation section coming up. So we don't want a big, bouncy, floaty truck. We want to be able to really maintain ground clearance and not feel like we're floating around on the trail.
Fair point.
I will switch it to soft to do the next section of off-road where we can actually move through the terrain fairly comfortably.
Brilliant.
Regen is set to high. We're going to leave it there. Hold, we will turn off. So as we start to move downhills, we're not trying to stop the truck.
Yes,
Make
exactly.
sense?
Yep, exactly.
Now, in rock crawl specifically, you have an even further desensitized accelerator. So that way, like I said, we don't have 900 pound-feet of torque.
You get a real control of that. Yep.
Yep. It'll also limit your speed to 20 mile an hour.
Makes sense.
So for whatever reason, if you had a slipping moment,
Yep.
you're not going to be able to
And
take
it's
off.
turned off the kind of front sensor as well. Yeah.
Correct. And of course, you have correlating drive mode here, ride height here, and remaining range.
Gotcha.
Every time we change a drive mode, the estimated remaining range recalculates.
Makes sense.
So when you're ready, go ahead and give the accelerator. We're going to come down this road. You can actually go all the way to the floor with the pedal, and it'll max out at 20.
Okay, so yeah.
Now, mind you, in stiff, you should be able to feel a little bit more through the steering wheel. You should be able to feel a little bit more through your bum in the seat, just to give you an idea of kind of what's underneath us. Stability is still turned on, so if you did decide to get a little wild and the truck back end kicked out on you, stability would reduce power of the
does keep that, yeah.
and shut the vehicle slide down.
It's still comfortable.
Extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, at the sign coming up, we will make a right into our kind of more aggressive off-road section, and you will reduce your speed down kindly to 5 miles an hour or just a little less than that. Our saying that we like to say here is as slow as possible, as fast as necessary. Coming through here, you'll favor just a smidge to the driver's side, just we're not pinstriping the passenger side of the truck.
Yeah.
Please.
So we've got some articulation going on here. And can you show on this screen some cameras showing the wheels and what we're doing, so I can see each wheel
passenger
here?
and driver front tire. We have the front camera here. Now, as much as this is beneficial off-road, it's not limited to functionality in that feature.
Yep.
My wife uses this to park the truck. She's not used to driving such a big vehicle. I have another buddy who uses this to help back his trailer up. You also have a rear-facing view that you don't have to be in reverse for.
Yep. Oh, it's just so easy on this, isn't
Now,
it?
if you want to, you can roll down your window and actually get a sense for how quiet this truck is and hearing just nature around you.
Which is quite a different thing now, isn't it?
It is indeed. So I want to pop back over. So I'm going to pop our ride into soft now. I'll leave the cameras back on for you. Make sure we are there. Perfect.
Well, no, that's okay. Well, that's effortless, isn't it?
It is. You can go up to 10 miles an hour through here if you'd like. I usually like to be a little quiet because you can actually just hear.
I think it's great.
The gravel crunching on the tires. If we had crickets chirping, it would be no problem to hear them. Do you do much off-roading?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of off-roading. I used to have fully kitted out Land Rovers with the winches and everything like this, yeah.
I spent the last almost 10 years with the Land Rover Experience driving.
Oh, really? Yeah. I used to do a lot of that with winch bumpers and big tyres. I used to love off-roading. That's where I first drove off-road at the age 15. That's where I first drove, yeah.
I'm excited to see what the future holds for our brand in the more specific off-road capacities.
Oh, yeah. It's just so easy and capable.
So coming through here, we have a fairly rutted out road. You can be anywhere you want to be at this point in time, as long as you're not in the shrubs on either the driver or passenger
Exactly,
side.
I didn't want to scratch it.
Now again, anywhere you want to be, so if you want to drop a tire in the rut, feel free. If you want to try and straddle it, be my guest. And again, this is one of those areas where with our customers, we just try and be quiet, try to enjoy what this experience offers.
And I guess the traction system must be amazing if you can have power to each individual wheel.
Yep, so one of the
It's a phenomenal thing. So you're not having lock-in diffs and all that kind of stuff.
What's really cool is that, so all the traction is electronically controlled. So if there was a particular tire that was maybe losing traction, we would actually simply, the computer would recognize it and reduce power to that particular motor so it can gain as much traction as possible based on the traction available.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun feature to see from an exterior perspective, especially when you get wheel lift. You can see that tire physically slowing its rotation as power is being pulled from it. As it makes contact with the ground, you can start to see that power return and traction return to the tire at the same time.
Well, this is effortless.
And quiet and smooth. This is one of those areas where I would, a lot of people are like, I'm really concerned about ground clearance. Well, with an EV like this and not having differentials and a drivetrain and a drive shaft, we really have 13.1 inches of ground clearance from tip to tail of this truck. There is nothing underneath us but an underbody.
Yeah, yeah.
So it allows us to really overcome obstacles a lot better than maybe some traditional 4x4s because of the additional ground clearance, not having components in our way.
So is there a number for the amount of axle articulation it has?
Like a degree?
Well, yeah, can it drop and fall by 50 centimeters?
It does have a number. I would not feel comfortable quoting it because I have not committed that particular piece of information yet.
I have to get something. Oh, it's just effortless with it, yeah. I mean, I've always thought that electric cars would be the perfect off-road cars because you've got the torque, the power, and especially in motor in each wheel, you've got all the control you could ever possibly need, and it's quiet.
Well, a lot of people talk about the wonderful term that always is attached to an EV, range anxiety. Yep. Especially when you're off in no man's land and you don't have charging, you don't have solar, and you don't have those things benefiting you. So one of the cool things is if you really start to think about how you can drive differently in an EV, using something like regen.
Yeah.
So coming down a mountain and putting regen in a less aggressive setting and letting the vehicle simply coast down the hillside, you can gain range.
Yeah, it's perfectly. Yeah.
Or being smart and not always being in a performance mode. You can go to conserve, which moves the power specifically to a front-wheel drive arrangement using less energy, therefore you have a longer range.
It's crawling over this so easily. I mean, even that wasn't massively challenging, but you would certainly probably be engaging lock-in diffs if you had them on a Land Rover, and a traction system would be blinking and your wheels would go and be cutting power, then you'll be getting grip. This is just crawling with ease.
Still have traditional performance and off-road features like torque vectoring and things like that as well, but they're a little less noticeable because A, it's an EV, and B, it's a very different drivetrain. Now there is an additional benefit to an off-road mode that not a lot of people are talking about, which we find very beneficial in a moment's notice, and that is a max ride height. Now max ride height puts the truck at 14.9 inches of ground clearance.
That's massive.
This is specifically to be used in areas where you need the extra couple of inches. You have a big step up, a ledge you got to step off of. Maybe you have water fording that's a little deeper than 3 feet where you need some additional ground clearance or height.
Yep.
That would be where that particular feature is going to be most beneficial. But when you're done, then you go back to...
So this camera view here is good because I can't really see where we're going. So this is great.
When your
hook see that wheel.
The view, you have the visibility before you get to the point of no return.
So now I'm off the throttle, and this is just going to be essentially hill descent control, but just using the motors to slow it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to cover the brake, but you don't want to brake when you go down a steep hill when you're off-roading.
No.
So rule number 1, isn't it? Don't brake.
Don't brake. Forward rotation allows for directional control.
Exactly.
Now, obviously, the steeper the hill, the more momentum we build, regen will be gradually less effective, and you will gradually build up speed.
So smooth with it, and you could obviously just pick up the speed if you wanted to, but the control there, the cameras won't pick up how steep that was, and actually, easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, there's a concept we have a lot of the customers who are especially new to the world of off-road driving. This truck builds an unbelievable amount of confidence and the ability to drive off-road for those who don't have that skill set.
Yeah, oh, it makes it easy. And these cameras here, again, proving absolutely vital. Brilliant. And these are the cameras and the wing mirrors here, I think.
So
they're
just on the outside of the mirror here.
Yep.
Now, if you want to, you can bring it up to about 10, 15 miles an hour if you're comfortable with that.
As long as you're comfortable with it.
It's mostly a straight road, but again, we have the camera here. Some of these synths have a little bit of a sweeping turn at the top, but very minor. Again, having the visibility before we get to the point of no return.
It does. So I'm looking at the sky right now.
Yeah.
But I can see here, I'm still in the track, and there's nothing dangerous in front of me. And I'm going to lift off again.
Now, if we had our regen set to max, the most powerful setting, it would likely bring us to an even slower rate of descent.
Yeah, this is well in control, but you see you can actually increase it even from this.
Yep.
So that's me to lift it off. Easy. Very good.
And this one, you have a slight right-hand turn at the top, and it actually levels out before it descends again. What I like is that the blue almost blends in with the sky itself.
It actually does. I was going to say that. The again, the camera's perfect. Yeah. Oh, this is certainly enough to get you off the beaten track. Even if you really had one wheel with grip, it would move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Without all those, traction systems and locking diffs. And low ratio gearboxes and all that kind of stuff.
I think there's a saying, sometimes simple is better.
Yeah, I've been waiting for the day for an off-roader. I've been driving Land Rovers off-road for years, and I've always thought it's just going to be perfect for electric. So it's so good to finally get in a position where it works brilliantly. I mean, Land Rover's
been around over 70 years and one of the original 4x4s in the world, especially bringing luxury and capability, and I think our brand has really kind of met that challenge.
I think you thought of everything. It's brilliant. You're not just kind of rushed the product out to market either. Full about everything.
That's something we've taken a lot of time and attention to. We want to make sure we do it right the first time.
I've been waiting really impatiently.
As have I. I have an R1S on order, so I'm in the same boat as every other one of our customers.
A day that I can order one of these for the UK, honestly, you've got my money. You've got my money.
All right, so coming down this road here, when we get to that 15 mile an hour sign, I'll let you bring it up to 15, 18 miles an hour. Again, ride quality set to soft. So this is an area where we're going to be able to find kind of that harmonic frequency to where you start to pick up a little speed and you don't really feel the terrain as aggressive as it may appear on the windscreen.
Yeah, it's quite rutted down there. There are some ruts here. But if this was a long trail going for miles across the desert, you could go along pretty quickly, I think.
Absolutely.
So it's got some weight to it, but it doesn't feel it. You know?
I'm gonna let you have some fun here on our runway in a second. You're gonna feel an entirely different personality to this truck. We've done the neighborhood driving 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We've done the off-road driving, light to medium off-road. We have the green light. We can go kind of down and right here. And what we're gonna do is once we pop up and out of this little ditch crossing, we're going to come to a stop on a gravel just before the runway. We'll change our drive mode to a more performance-oriented drive mode.
So this kind of cross axle, that would catch out loads of cars. The axle going like this, one would be in the air, then you go the traction control, if I don't know the sound effects. Round to the right.
And you can see kind of our little chicane here. We'll stop on the gravel before we hit the tarmac. All right, we're gonna pull out of the runway. We're gonna stay in the right lane between the white line and the edge of the runway here.
We're gonna go down here, yeah?
Yep, you can see all of our dirt tire tracks. We're gonna come to a stop at the end of the white line, kind of between the stop sign and the white. And I'm gonna give you...
Here?
Yep, right here.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little special treat. We'll do a proper 0 to 60.
Good.
All right.
Right.
So before we go, what we're going to do is a couple of things here. The runway itself will do 0 to 60. Once we get 60, I'll ask you to lift and let regen take over.
Yep.
We'll drop down to about 45.
Yep.
Then you're going to hammer back down again from 45 back to 60.
Kind of overtaking type
Exactly.
speed.
So
yep.
0 to 60, getting on the run or on the highway.
Yep.
40 to 60, overtaking someone. We'll make a left-hand turn at the end of the runway. We'll come to a complete stop. We'll play with some adaptive cruise control on our way back home.
Amazing.
All right, now sport mode gives you all the torque, all the power on demand.
Yep.
Lowers the ride height to 10.1 inches, so you're not going to get that big lift that you would normally get out of a truck.
Yep.
So when you're ready, left foot brake, right foot throttle, all the way to the floor, and then dump the brake when you're ready.
Does it say launch control like a Tesla?
Go for it.
Ready? Jesus.
Lift. Come down a little bit further, maybe into 40s, and punch it again.
Ready, go.
And lift.
You can hear it pulling at the tyres. In fact, you know, these are sort of off-road tyres. If it wasn't for that, it would be
that's
even
one of the
harder.
astonishing things is being able to do a heavy truck like this on a 33.5-inch all-terrain off-road tire and still manage a 0 to 60 repeatedly at 3.2 seconds.
Yeah, I was just about to say to the camera that to me that felt very much like a probably Tesla Model 3 performance. Model S performance, that a little bit more violent, but Model 3 performance, a surprisingly hard launch, and then it's got a bit of weight to move, so but it's phenomenal.
I mean, that was a four-wheel peel we did.
It's a four-wheel.
And we have a couple thousand pounds on the nearest Tesla, so
amazing.
It's really an impressive feat to behold in a pickup truck of all things.
You can't see under this mask. Well, my grin is like this. That's phenomenal. I'm really how hard that launch was impressive. Very impressive. Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is adaptive cruise control.
Yep.
Pretty standard feature in most vehicles.
Yep.
We have a balloon car at the end of the taxiway here. We're going to allow the vehicle to actually come to a complete stop on its own.
Yep.
So what you're going to do is you're going to bring the truck up to 35 miles an hour. You will do one pull down on the drive stalk to activate your adaptive cruise control.
Yep.
You'll see the speed turn blue right in front of the truck. And then all you got to do is steer, take your feet off the pedals, and we're going to kind of go careening towards that white balloon car at the end of the taxiway.
No, okay, gotcha.
Whenever you're ready.
Yep.
There you go. Now distance you can control with the scroll wheel on the right. So if you roll the scroll wheel back on the right, I want you to come down to 2 bars. There you go. And then the buttons left or right of the scroll wheel, the right button increases speed, the left button will decrease speed. Go to 35.
Does it have a lane assist?
It does. It has lane keep assist, it has lane departure warning. It has highway assist, which is a level 2 autonomy feature. And we're just going to kind of cream towards this.
We're going to cream towards this guy.
Stopped in the middle of the road.
Well, I'm not paying. I'm looking at this. I'm not paying attention. Oh, progressive.
And it'll bring us all the way down to a complete stop.
So it didn't kind of wait for the last minute thing. Yeah.
I mean, we were 2 bars out of 4, even 1 bar.
Yeah.
Now, what you're going to do is you're going to tap the brake. It'll deactivate the system, putting the vehicle entirely back into your control.
Yep.
When you're ready, come around to the left of the balloon car, and then we'll kind of come back around to the right of those hay bales. As we come into our car corral area, I'll ask you to dial it down to about 5 miles an hour.
Yep.
We'll pick one of the parking spaces near the end of the trucks, and that'll be it for the day.
Oh, that's fantastic. A real privilege. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming out. I appreciate
Well, thanks for the event. It's amazing. The product's amazing. So hopefully everyone in the team's really proud of it. It's quite rightly so.
We're going to go all the way to the end.
All the way to the end. It's just so comfortable to be in. It's just so nice.
Well, you can see the pedestrians on the screen as well.
Yeah. It does in the gap here, perhaps?
Yeah, we can go to 8. That's fine. You're going to pull all the way to the yellow line on the taxiway, and you're going to make a complete stop at about a 45, even a little further if you can. Right there is good.
Thank you. Super easy. You know, it just doesn't feel like a big cumbersome car or anything like that. I just think it's fantastic. It's a for us in the UK, this is a really big vehicle, but it still fits. It's still okay. I don't feel that it feels any bigger than, it's longer than something like a Range Rover, but it doesn't feel any bigger in here, you know?
Well, we have, you know, essentially we're a medium-sized truck, at least in the North America sense of things.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
For us, this is pretty much as big as it gets in the road, but it doesn't feel cumbersome, doesn't feel awkward with it. There's a couple of width restrictions in London, which I think would be a challenge, but phenomenal.
It's a fairly narrow truck in the grand scheme of, again, of North American-made trucks.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one of the benefits I really love about a pickup truck. I personally was not a pickup truck person coming from my previous brand. I was very in love with my last brand.
Okay.
This has really changed my opinion on what a pickup truck can be.
Okay.
It drives like a truck when you want it to drive like a truck.
Yeah.
It drives like the best of off-road rigs when you want it to drive like one of them.
It does.
It also drives like a sports car when you want it to. It is truly a very wide breadth of capability, and it behaves in every way we intend it to behave. So it's taken time and focus and a lot of engineering and a lot of
everything you need,
to get there.
Oh, you can see, and that's why, you know, we've all been waiting patiently, but quite rightly so, because you've done a fantastic job of it. Fantastic.
We appreciate the benefits.
Is this a phone pad?
Yep, so wireless charging.
I love that pull-out speaker from down here.
Camp speaker down
Love camp speaker, pull that out.
So yeah, the camp speaker.
It sounded pretty good as well.
Hangs upside down. It actually has built-in lantern as well, so you can actually turn it on at nighttime and be able to see what's going around.
Fantastic.
Wireless charging port here, integrated cup holders down there. You have little storage compartments underneath your seat here that's felt lined for sunglasses, personal belongings, things like that.
Soft. It just feels premium. It feels right. It feels really good. Well done, everyone at Rivian. I'm really super impressed. So
we're happy to make the impression.
Yeah, you can have my money. It's fantastic.
I'd gladly take it. I'll wait a little while before I call the police though.
That's brilliant. Just well trimmed, well detailed everywhere. Very good. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed that. Big thanks to Rivian, and I think I need to get me one of these. Bye for now. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe, but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram. Just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.